Hello everybody, welcome back to Real Techniques. I'm Nick and today's makeup tutorial I'm going to show you is how to get a sheer yet flawless base for summer. And I'm going to use both brushes and sponges to do this. I'm actually focusing on the Ultimate Base Set. Let's get started. Firstly, I'm going to add a little bit of moisturiser. I'm going to use my Expert face brush to apply this. Got to get our skin ready for the foundation. If we want it to last, preparation is the key. Sorry, my little necklace is really jingling. You can use your hands to apply your moisturiser. I personally prefer to use a brush because I like the movement that it gives. It gives me a lovely even finish without applying too much of the product. It also gives my brush a little bit of lacquer ready for when I put the next products on. I'm then going to go in with a little bit of Radiance Primer. Now, just because it's a primer doesn't mean it has to be flat and matte. I like a radiance one because I have a dry skin and in the summer I want that radiant glow. So I'm going to take that on the same brush and just work that into the areas that I need it. Now brushes make a massive difference. Obviously when you're doing eyeshadow you need a brush to really get it intricate, but when you're doing base you really want to make sure that you're applying it with a brush so it lasts that bit longer. It's a bit like painting a wall. You wouldn't paint a wall with your hands because you wouldn't get it even. You'd use a brush so you can get an even finish right the way over the skin without it being heavy in certain areas. So by using a brush you're getting exactly the same as that. You can really buff it in and push it into areas you want a bit more coverage. You're then going to take a foundation of your choice. Pop a little bit onto the back of your hand and then with the same brush again, you're going to apply that over the skin. I tend to start in the middle and buff out. Now I have got a little bit of fake tan on my face, so my foundation looks a tiny bit light, but it won't in a second. So just by putting those two products on that I put on first, it's allowing the foundation to slip and work into the skin. If you put your foundation onto dry skin, it's gonna pull, it's gonna drag. You can use a brush and it will help, but you really wanna make sure you've put those other products on first to make it that bit easier for you. Make sure you're covering all the surface area that you want to. So any problem areas, make sure they're covered. I tend to rub a small swoosh just over the eyelids, but if you get very oily eyelids, probably stay away from this area. So you can see the foundation's worked over beautifully. It's still got a really lovely glow from the primer and the moisturiser that I've put underneath, and that glow is going to stay there. That's not going to go. I'm then going to take a little bit of concealer, run that under my eyes. I get a tiny bit dark in here because I'm quite deep set my eyes. I get a deep set bit here too, so I don't want to forget to cover that as well. And I'm then going to take my Deluxe concealer brush and buff that in. Now, I'm keeping away from this area because actually I'm 36. Am I 36? Yeah, I'm 36, 37 next month. So I have fine lines here. I don't want to put the concealer into that area because it's just going to pick up and sit in those areas. So I just keep it where I have the very dark bit. I think people do struggle with finding a base that looks like they're not wearing makeup, and brushes is the best way of doing that because they work it into the skin and they bind it with the skin. It lasts that much better, but it also looks like you've not put tons of stuff on your face. Just look like a better version of yourself. Who doesn't want that? Just taking what's left on my brush, just around my nose a bit. Now I have a couple of blemishes. Actually the makeup's pretty much covered them. I have one here which isn't actually red, it's just more raised. Now with makeup you can't change the depth of your skin. You can't change if something is a spot that is raised. All you can do is if it's glowing or slightly red, you can make the colour go down. We can't change texture with makeup. You can hide it a bit. So I'm going to take a different concealer, one that's got a little bit more coverage, and just push it with this same brush over any areas where I have the odd little blemish. So like I said, it's not going to change the raisedness of this blemish, but it is going to make it slightly more even and disappear more into the skin. Then with my sponge. Now this sponge can be used wet or dry. You can use it with your foundation, liquid foundation, slightly damp, wring it out and it will give you a lighter coverage. I want to use it for powdering. So I'm going to take a loose powder, dip my sponge into it, tap off any excess. I'm just going to push that over the skin. That is going to seal this makeup into place so it's not going to move, especially under the heat that we get in the summer and in the winter when that kind of redness comes through in the skin from the cold air. Just push that over. It's giving me a tiny bit more coverage without it looking heavy. I'm then going to use a large powder brush and a little bit of bronzer just to add the colour back. So I look like I've literally got perfect skin, but hardly any makeup on. So there you have the perfect, easy, sheer coverage, flawless base for summer, and it will help you through to winter as well. Now don't forget to like and subscribe, and also if you have other ways that you enjoy using our brushes, don't forget to share, tag Real Techniques. We love to see how you enjoy using them because there's so many ways you can use them. Take care and I'll see you next time.